Will this be the week that Calvin Ridley breaks out? What are we looking at in the Raiders-Eagles matchup? Jacob Gibbs joins us right now on FFT in 5. All right, Jacob, make me happy here. Make me smile because I got Calvin Ridley and Matt Ryan in my DFS lineup here. I like him a lot. Should I?
I think so. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about Ryan, but I'm super excited for Calvin Ridley. um, so it's mostly about the matchup here. There's two things to really focus on. The Dolphins use man coverage more than any team in the NFL, and they blitz at the second highest rate in the NFL. And so the good news is Ridley absolutely shreds man coverage, which should come as no surprise. He's really, really good. Among receivers with at least 150 routes run versus man coverage since the start of 2020, only 5 have a higher yard per route run rate than Ridley. And then more good news, Matt Ryan really, really leans on him when he's blitzed. Only Cooper Kupp has a higher target per route run rate when his quarterback is blitzed than Calvin Ridley does. So those two aspects of the matchup set up really well for Ridley. It is worth noting, though, that Matt Ryan has been noticeably worse over the past couple of years when blitzed, and he's been noticeably worse when facing man coverage. He's better against zone. And so that gives me a little bit of pause. And just in general, the aggressiveness of Miami's defense makes it a bit of more of a volatile matchup than most. But in terms of Ridley, what he's looking at, as long as Ryan can deliver the ball to him downfield, he absolutely should cook this defense. And so I'm really, really excited. He's really underpriced on both DraftKings and FanDuel, so I think this is the week he gets back on track.
All right, A.J. Brown. Let's talk about A.J. Brown. In Week 6, he had the Monday night game against the Bills. The Bills have been shutting down fantastic wide receivers left and right, and A.J. Brown had a really good game, most of it in the second half. What do you see this week against the Chiefs? Big spot here?
I think so. This is another one that's a little bit volatile. He's, of course, dealing with the illness, and then the Chiefs have been really bad against the run, so if Tennessee were to get up, they could just lean on Derrick Henry and not need to throw as much. But if the game script plays out the way that Vegas is expecting it to, Tennessee will be playing from behind and throwing a lot, and A.J. Brown should just absolutely torch Kansas City's defense. The Chiefs are ranked 31st in DVOA against the pass, but if you look more specifically, it's a matchup that does set up really well for Brown. The Chiefs rank top 5 in both man and press coverage use, and just press covering A.J. Brown in general is really not a good idea. He's been the 4th most targeted receiver when pressed since the start of 2020. He's also been, noticeably better versus man. He has averaged 3.04 yards per route run and been targeted on 34% of his routes versus man coverage compared to just 21% versus zone. So it's a massive difference there. And then similar to Ridley, the Chiefs blitz a ton. They blitz the 7th highest rate in the NFL. And similar to Ridley, Ryan Tannehill has really leaned on Brown. He's targeted him on 40% of his routes run when facing the blitz. And it's only Cooper Kupp and Ridley that have been targeted at a higher rate. So everything sets up really well for Brown, and unlike Matt Ryan, Tannehill has actually been better against the blitz and has been pretty good against man coverage as well. So I think as long as Tennessee is passing and as long as A.J. Brown's stomach allows him to play, he definitely should have a big game here.
Yeah, he says he expects to play. Got to get him some IV or something like that before the game. All right, so I think the Eagles and the Raiders is a pretty interesting matchup. All eyes are going to be on the running backs from fantasy perspective here, but what are you looking at in the Eagles-Raiders game?
Yeah, I think there's just some interesting notes for the passing attacks on both sides here. These are the two teams
play zone. Lost Jacob.
I don't know. It seems fine on my end.
Eagles and the Raiders. Is that the running backs? Better. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. It seemed fine on my end. But anyway, both these teams play zone at a really, really high rate. The only two teams in the NFL actually that play zone over 80% of the time. And so on the Philly side of things, this is really interesting for Dallas Goedert and just the passing offense in general. Jalen Hurts has been 49% more likely on a per-play basis to rush when facing man coverage than zone coverage. And I think that makes sense intuitively. Playing zone coverage, you've got your eyes on the quarterback, you're more likely to react to a run. And this is held up historically, league average as well. It's up 30% more likely to rush when facing man than zone. So I think with a zone-heavy matchup here, we're more likely to see Hurts passing and rushing less often. And that should mean more targets in general. And then specifically, Goddard should see a boost in his targets. Of course, he's going to run more routes with Zach Ertz out. And then he's also been the Eagles' pass catcher who's seen the biggest boost in target per out run rate when facing zone. So I'm really excited about him. And I think if you want to be really specific with prop betting, you could bet the unders on Jalen Hurts rushing and the overs on passing if you find any good spots there. On the other side of the ball, the zone-heavy matchup for the Raiders typically has meant that Derek Carr has been significantly less aggressive. His average depth of target is up almost 4 yards when facing zone coverage or when facing man coverage compared to zone. And so I think the player who's really set to benefit here is Hunter Renfrow. He's short yardage target. He's when facing zone, he's thrown it, significantly shorter, and Renfrow has seen his target per run rate by about 5% compared to his rate against man. And then also it's worth noting that when pressured, Carr has really leaned on Darren Waller, and when not pressured, his highest target per run rate player is actually Hunter Renfrow, and he's facing an Eagles defense that ranks near the bottom of the league in pressure rate. So really exciting spot for Renfrow here, as well as Dallas Goedert on the Eagles side of things.
All right. Excellent stuff there. Excellent stuff, because, Renfrow might be someone that fantasy managers need to turn to this week. And Goddard, I think I'd be very excited to start. So good stuff here from Jacob Gibbs. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Fantasy Football Today in 5, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend.